All right, now I'm good to go. Let's get back into the news. Let's start this shit over. So, Oath Keepers leaked membership list includes police and politicians by Mike Wendling. Not surprising in the least, like I said. Hundreds of U.S. public officials, police officers, and soldiers are or have been involved with the far-right Oath Keepers militia, according to a report from an anti-extremism organization. The Anti-Defamation League's Center on Extremism compared the names from a leak of Oath Keepers' membership rolls with public records and social media. Oath Keepers are accused of playing a key role in last year's Capitol riots. The reports raises fresh concerns about the presence of extremist ideology in law enforcement and the military. Now, if you've been living under a rock or just aren't very politically aware, the Oath Keepers are 100% a terrorist organization, man. Some members of their organization brought literal fucking bombs to the Capitol during January 6th, man. And there's videos of them doing like military movements in there. They were trying to straight up get in there and kill motherfuckers. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, man. They're fucking dangerous as hell. They are literal brown shirt fascists. Last year, a whistleblower group called Distributed Denial of Secrets published more than 38,000 names on the Oath Keepers membership list. They're fucking gigantic, man. Right-wing militarism and militias are a huge problem. They're the FBI's, or they used to be. I think they might have taken it off because they're fucking pussies, but they used to be the top threat, or identified as the top threat to national security or internally by the FBI. Right-wing terrorism is huge in the U.S. There's been thousands and thousands of, or maybe not thousands, I gotta look it up on Wikipedia, but a whole fucking lot. Many people have died to right-wing terrorism, more than Islamic extremism. And in fact, last time I looked it up, there has literally been 0 terrorist attacks from the left since 2001 at least. So keep that in mind when they try to tell you that they're doing all this to defend from Antifa and Black Bloc and the dangerous radical left. Yeah, right. It's all fucking projection, as always with these fucking right-wing lunatics. All right, let's start back up here. Last year, a whistleblower group called Distributed Denial of Secrets published more than 38,000 names on the Oath Keepers membership list, although experts estimate that the group's current active membership is much lower. Analysis of the leaked data by the Anti-Defamation League identified 81 people across the country who currently hold public office or are running in November's midterm elections. Fucking insane, dude. Researchers also found that nearly 400 current law enforcement officers and more than 1,000 former officers are connected to the group, along with more than 100 current serving military personnel. So it's not necessarily surprising to me that the Oath Keepers have infiltrated the military and the police. Like, that's basically old news, man. Like, the KKK, back during their resurgence in the late 1910s to the 1930s, they did the same thing, man. There was a huge problem, as well as problems with government officials being a part of the KKK, and it just caused a lot of problems. We're just kind of seeing history repeat itself, man. That's always the case when education isn't a priority in a nation and when the truth isn't a priority to the government. And on top of that, policing in the United States kind of has a special racist history. I'm sure that a lot of you are aware that in southern states in particular, slave catching patrols were converted into local police stations in order to still enforce a racial hierarchy. And the legacy of that just continues on to this day with right-wing extremism and fascism, man. It's a huge problem in the United States, and until we as a nation can kind of, and specifically white Americans can kind of grapple with that dark past, the same shit is just going to keep on happening over and over again, man. And I don't want to put too much onus on white America as a whole, though, because they are suffering just as much as the colored people in America. Colored, I don't know. That sounds like fucking old-timey. As much as people of color are suffering in the United States, man. People are suffering all over the world. There are more working poor whites than there are people of color who are working poor, you know? But the whole problem is that instead of coming together and seeing our commonality and our common struggle, people with nefarious goals and people who have old school reactionary fascist ways of thinking divide us, so it makes it harder for us to address these problems. You know what I mean? The whole stupid fucking culture war and all this shit is just a way to keep us from creating communities that challenge power and speak truth to power, you know? Others in the report, however, have more definitive ties to the group, such as Wendy Rogers, a state senator from Arizona who has publicly declared her membership. Ms. Rogers, who has repeated false claims that Donald Trump won the 2020 presidential election, is running for re-election in November. More than a dozen members of the group were charged earlier this year in connection with the January 6th riot, storming the U.S. Capitol by supporters of former President Donald Trump. A former Oath Keepers spokesperson told a congressional committee investigating the Capitol attack that the group has come to embrace white nationalists and other straight-up racists. I think we've gotten exceedingly lucky that more bloodshed did not happen because the potential has been there from the start, Jason Von Tattenhove said in a July testimony before the committee. He's exactly right, man. And I'm no cop lover, bro. You know what I mean? I think the vast majority of them are fucking pigs or hogs, like fucking Hassan likes to call them. But if those cops had let more of those violent extremists in the Capitol, I guarantee you they would have killed those fucking politicians, man. And then the right-wingers would not be able to have this plausible deniability that they love to use regarding January 6th, man. And they are planning these things, man. There is a huge network of white right-wing extremists and militia members who are just waiting for the opportune moment, man. And that's why it's especially scary for me having people like Ron DeSantis, who is a competent fascist, vying for power and gaining traction, man. Ron DeSantis has the potential to take what Donald Trump did and push it even further and bring full-on authoritarianism into U.S. politics, man. It's fucking scary, and there are plenty of people who want that to happen. We have to be vigilant, and the left has to make counter-organizations to this, man. The left, you'll see this all throughout history, man. The left loves to talk theory, but they hate to act. That is what we have to do. It always disappoints me to see these other streamers like on the left, like Vosh and Hassan, specifically those two because they're so big, and especially Hassan, who accumulate all these resources and accumulate all this popularity, but really don't do enough to spread the message and create coalitions, man. And a lot of people will say that, oh, it's just entertainment and blah, 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 blah. But no, they have a real, even though it may be small comparatively, they have a real chance and, in my opinion, obligation to practice what they preach, man. You know, like if my streams, if this shit pops off, I'm telling you, like, the vast majority of my time is going to be going to organizing, man. And it should be on every leftist agenda to unionize the workplace, try to make tenant unions, try to bring the community together to combat this rise of fascism and authoritarianism, man. Because if we're not there, the fascists are. And the reactionary politics are a lot easier to get sucked into than the more sober-headed, rational, but albeit a bit more complicated ideology of the left, man. We have to do better at combating this type of stuff.